Hello, my amazing tribe. I'm excited to connect with you through this video. Greetings, explorers of knowledge. Join us as we embark on a quest to understand Sibi. Sibi is a city situated in the Balochistan province of Pakistan. The city serves as the administrative headquarters of the district and tehsil of the same name. The time has come to unravel the secrets behind etymology and gain a deeper understanding. The origin of the town's name is attributed to Rani Sui, a Hindu lady of the Sur dynasty who ruled Balochistan before the 7th century. In the following section, we'll be immersing ourselves in the captivating world of geography. The climatic and topography of Sibi district is quite varied compared to other districts of Balochistan. It is also known as the hotspot of Pakistan, where the temperatures in the summer exceed far above normal 52.6 C 126.7 F. The district has two tehsils, Sibi and Leri, which are further organized into sub-tehsils. Sibi is connected to Quetta via the Bolan Pass and Nori Pass through Hanay. Bolan Pass depicted on a 1910 advertisement card for Liebig Meat Extract Company. Now, let's dig deeper into history and unveil the hidden treasures it holds within. Until the end of the 15th century, the district had been a dependency of Multan and had been part of Ghaznavid Empire ruled by a petty chief named Najaruddin Kubocha. Around 1500 it was taken by Shahbeg of the Iron dynasty from Samad dynasty of Sindh and so came under the control of Kandahar. The remainder of Aryans in Sibi were defeated by Pashan Pani tribe of Sangan and Kut Munday, thus the Panis conquered Sibi and Tada plains. Panis of Sibi and Tada under their chiefs Malikye Misri and Jani Khan Pani defeated the Mughal forces twice but surrendered the Sibi fort after a third valiant resistance. Thus the territory came under Mughal rule. During the rule of Aurangzeb, Junaid Khan Barozi, head of Pani Pashan tribe of Sibi, was granted authority over Sibi and Kaki area and was titled Bakhtiar Khan. He was succeeded by his son Mirza Khan, who was officially declared a Naub by Aurangzeb and also given administration over Shikapur, Sindh. Naub Mirza Khan Barozi led the Panis successfully in initial 16 out of 18 battles fought against Khan of Khalit of Mir Ahmad Khan. During the 17th engagement at a spot called Perlekin, neither sides emerged victorious, but Mir Ahmad himself and his minister, Akhund Muhammad Soleh, were both wounded, and Mir Shawaz and Mir Ibrahim, the latter an ancestor of the Noshawani Sada Mir Zad Khan, lost their lives. The Brahwis left the battlefield. The Panis collected the booty, consisting of silken belts and horses of Turkey and Tazi breed. Mir Ahmad Kambrani's sister named Bibo gallantly attacked the Panis attired in male garments. She fought valiantly and got killed at the hands of Jalal Khan Pani. In 1695, the Khan of Khalit received the intelligence about absence of Mirza Khan from Sibi. He planned a well-thought-out attack on Sibi. Skirting Sibi and Tada, he reached a noticed above the Silichi village of Tali, and thus caught Rahim Khan Pirani, commander of Panis of Sibi, unprepared. The latter, shocked and surprised, faced the Kambranis on the Luni irrigation channel. For lack of infinitive and timely decision on the part of Rahim Khan, Panis lost the battle. Naub Mirza Khan learnt about this debacle in Shikapur. He rushed to Sibi, organized the disheartened Panis into a fighting contingent and headed for Khalit. The Khan of Khalit gathered his force in the fort of Khalit. After a few skirmishes, both sides thought it prudent to negotiate terms. Peace prevailed between the two confederacies, which was sealed by a happy marriage of Princess Monaz, the daughter of Mir Ahmad Kambrani, with Said Khan Barozi Pani, brother of Mirza Khan Barozi. It was agreed upon that Brahvis of Khalit would be allowed to graze their flocks in Kaki plains. Naub Mirza Khan Barozi was succeeded by his son Naub Bakhtiar Khan II. He fought the famous Mughal-Afghan Battle of Uk in January 1702 against the Mughal forces led by Prince Muhammad Muzuddin, the Subadar of Multan. Naub Bakhtiar Khan, along with 500 Mukhi Jamot people, 30 Silichi Terrines and many Panis, was killed. The government over Sibi and Tada territory was handed over to Kalhoras of Sindh by the Mughals. During this period, Rahim Parang and Daulat Khan Barozi revolted, but the insurrection was crushed. Again Rahim, Yusuf and other Afghans revolted and succeeded in recapturing Sibi and Tada from Kalhorazon. Kalhoraz once again attacked Siwi and Tada and fought a battle with Panis, who were then being led by Sada Panju Khan Kolok. In this battle Panju Khan along with many Afghans was killed, whereas his colleagues Sabzal Khan and Daulat Khan Barozi sued for peace. Thus Sibi and Tada were again, in the month of March and April 1708, restored to Kalhar rule. Panis lost about 1,000 men in the course of the 37 days-long Kalhar-Pani battle for Siwi and Tada. Mir Abdul Jalal Bilgrami has recorded this famous and prolonged battle in the form of a poem. All this information has been obtained from Kalhar sources like Munshar al-Wasiat and Guldasta-e Norazba. In 1714 Yar Muhammad Kalharo with the title of Kudayar Khan acquired Siwi and Tada from Mughals. He was succeeded by Nur Muhammad Kalharo, also known as Kudayar Khan, who in 1730 Anno Domini fought Battle of Kaki and killed Abdullah Khan Brafi, the then Khan of Kalat, somewhere near Lari village. After Nader Shah's invasion of India, Pada and Kaki, excluding Sibi Plains and Sangan, were handed over to the refugee sons of Khan Kalat by Nader Shah as compensation for the blood of Khan Abdullah Khan. During the rule of the Ahmad Shah Durrani, Hani chief Nawab Ismail Khan Barozi was handed the administration of Sibi and adjoining areas. On the death in 1753 of Mir Nur Muhammad Kalhara, Ahmad Shah Abdali made the Pani Nawab a royal representative in the newly acquired Sindh province. To quell the running dispute between Kalhoras and Dowpatras about the possession of the town of Shikapa, it was also, once again, handed over to the Afghans of Sai. But unfortunately Pani Afghan forces of Nawab Ismail Khan indulged in unworthy conduct of plundering the local populace in Sindh. As a result of this, differences arose between the Pani Nawab and Muhammad Beg Shamu, the royal ambassador in Sindh. This confrontation resulted in Sindh province again reverting to the rule of Kalhoras. The town of Shikapa, however, continued under the rule of the Panis of Sai for some more time. The town, as well as the whole areas, benefited from this arrangement greatly because a brisk trade between Sindh and Sayawat-Pishin region on the one hand and Afghanistan and Central Asian cities on the other sprang up. This trade was, afterwards, interrupted partly because of the law and order situation in the then southern Afghanistan during the 20 years rule of Taimur Shah, son of Ahmad Shah Abdali, which lasted from 1772 to 1793 Anno Domini, in the possession of Nawab Kaus Baksh Barozi, present Dija, head of Sai Afghans. There is a Sanad letter of Ahmad Shah Abdali which is dated 28th Rabiul Awwal 1172 or 1758 and reads as recorded below. Before this I had, through separate written orders, awarded the government of Sibi territory to Isa Khan Durrani Pani Nawab Ismail Khan's son, and the government of the forts of Bar Kambarkan and Ketran and Hasli to Muhammad Khan Durrani Pani Nawab Ismail Khan's brother. But now I award the government of the above-mentioned Bahuls to be held by Al-Mittal Kaunim, the best of the Khans, Ismail Khan Durrani Pani, Isa Khan and Muhammad Khan jointly. All the three will perform social, military and revenue functions in respect of these areas jointly and under the overall supervision of Ismail Khan, because he is both aged, knowledgeable and experienced of all of them. To Ismail Khan I entrust the whole range of matters connected with the punishment, patronage and administration of Pani tribes, so that he attends to his duties with care and gives good performance. Isa Khan, Muhammad Khan, Zamindars, nobles and general Pani public should keep within the limits prescribed by me. State functionaries should also enforce above-mentioned orders. Other important fact which these letters bring to light is that, until the winters of 1758 AD, Meri tribe had not as yet occupied Kahan and Kolu areas, both of which tracts were still in the possession of the Hasni and Zarkan Afghans. It is sometime after the winter of 1758 that Ketran, Hasni and Zarkan Afghans were attacked and considerably weakened twice by the forces of Muhammad Khan Pani, and then perhaps after the death of Ahmad Shah Abdali by the Meri tribe, encouraged and practically assisted by Mir Noja Khan. A story is still current that an emissary belonging to Sumrani Meri subsection had been sent to the Khan of Kalat to ask for help. When in Dubba he killed a dangerous snake and thus earned the goodwill of the chief. This, among other things, led to Khan furnishing an army for the support of Meris against Husnis. When Mir Nurja Khan I rebelled against the Shah, the news spread like wildfire. Among other things, he instigated Duma Afghans to attack and plunder the Pani headquarters of Sangan village. For this purpose he tampered with the loyalty of Sada Haider Khan Duma, regardless of the fact that the latter was one of the most trustworthy friends of the Baruzes. Sada Haider Khan, one fine morning, appeared before the Sangan fort with a considerable force. At that time Rashid Khan, son of Norb Ismail Khan Pani, happened to be present in the Sangan fort. He immediately shifted inside the Afghan nomads, who were camping outside the walls of the fort, and ordered the trees around the Sangan fort to be cut down in order to eliminate the chances of enemy taking shelter behind these trees. Soon after, Duma forces surrounded the Sangan fort and started firing at the garrison. This continued for quite some time. Becoming impatient, Koil Khan shouted at Rashid Khan, "Why not go out of the fort and fight the enemy in the open?" This suggestion was immediately accepted, and Panis rushed out to give battle to Duma in the open fields. After a severe engagement and lot of massacre, Duma's forces broke and ran. It is said that as a result of this battle, Sada Haider Khan Duma, having been hit in the leg, became lame and could not walk properly for the rest of his life. Naub Ismail Khan Barozi Pani must have been a famous and popular ruler, because the well-known and often quoted saying "Bani to Bani Nihin to Daud Khan Pani," attributed to Daud Khan Pani of all India fame, is frequently amended by the local Barozes so as to declare that "Bani to Bani Nihin to Ismail Khan Pani." Naub Ismail Khan Pani died about 1762 and lies buried in a tomb, still intact, situated about 2 furlongs southeast of the remote but historic Pani village of Sangan, Pakistan. According to Mullah Fazl, on the death of his father, Isa Khan Pani wrote a letter to Ahmad Shah Abdali informing him of the demise of late Naub Ismail Khan Pani. Ahmad Shah replied to the letter offering condolences and also conferring the title of Bakhtiar Khan on Isa Khan Pani. 2 years after Isa Khan, Bakhtiar Khan III Pani of Sangan became the ruler of the Confederacy. He, in 1764, was summoned by the Shah and, therefore, took out a force to assist him in a fight against Sikhs in Punjab. On page of Jang Nam of Qazi Nur Muhammad Kalhar we find a heading as follows: WHENBAKHTIARKHAN Panis FORCESJOINEDTHATOFTHEKHAN. According to Kazi's narrative, Bakhtiar Khan III came over and joined Mir Nurja Khan of Kalat at a time when latter's forces were about to cross the Indus River in Duragazi Khan area. As a result of his arrival, Khan of Kalat was detained near the ford for some days so that he could organize a reception feast on the river bank in the honor of the Khan of Pani Afghans. This family needed no introduction, says Qazi, because they had produced about 13 generations of ruling Khans. The Khanab of the Panis came with a force made up of 1,000 brave fighters. After the reception was over, both the Brathi as well as the Afghan forces crossed the Indus River in boats. While marching on the other side of Indus River, the two Khans indulged themselves in game hunting till they reached Sahewal, which is a tract of land enclosed by the Hellam and the Chenab rivers, says Qazi. There the Khan of Kalat, having received express summonses from Ahmad Shah Abdali, left in haste to meet the latter. Around the end of rule of Sedozes and beginning of rule of Barkais, unity and faith among Pani Confederacy of Sibi and Sangan broke apart and bitter civil war started. About 1813, Anno Domini Ahmadiyar Khan, son of Behram Khan, Sorfraz Khan, son of Mir Mustafa Khan, and Mai Zainab, daughter of Mir Nurja Khan I, are granted political asylum by Koyok chief Sada Mir Khan Sametim. After 1813, Anno Domini Koyok Pani Afghan chief named Mir Khan attacks and destroys the village of the Afghan tribe of Marzanis Panis, who consequently migrate to and take refuge with the Pani Afghan tribe of Dipals. Koyoks also deprive Marzanis of their share of water in the Nori River. However, Mir Khan is himself killed by a matchlock ball during the same fight. Koyoks also quarrelled with Barozes, Lunis and Nordani Terines. About 1825, Anno Domini Baruzi, chief of Sibi, Naub Habib Khan, son of Naub Ahmed Yar Khan, so Naub Muhammad Khan Pani, was murdered by Koyoks after notorious Haji Khan Kaka, then an agent of Mohammadzi Sardars of Kenha, had first been bribed by them. This incident took place during a darbar held at Kurak village. According to Maulvi Abdul Halim of Kirk, the news of the murder of Habib Khan was carried by one of his Silichi servants to village Tali. As a result, a Silichi Tarin Afghan force rushed to the scene of murder, where they found and attacked Haji Khan's party. In the ensuing clash, Haji received a severe beating, whereas several of his party were killed and all their belongings plundered. Approximately between 1825–1826, Anno Domini, Habib Khan's brother Sadullah Khan Baruzi also came to be murdered by the Koyoks at the shrine of famous Saint Akhan Sahib Mullah Moli of the Safi tribe during the course of afternoon prayers. Immediately before the prayers, a tribal Joda had decided that there will no more be bloodshed amongst the Afghan owners of lands and water, as stated by Qazi Abdul Halim. Koyoks and some of the Panis violated the oath on Kren immediately after they had taken it, and murdered the Baruzi Khan. Habib Khan had 3 sons: Sheikh Khan nominal chief, Misri Khan de facto chief, Bakhtiar Khan. During this period, Koyok-Barozi differences forced Misri Khan Barozi to lead the British forces to Sai and surround Koyoks in their village, which act eventually led to a fight. Historical consequences of this fight are stated to be quite damaging to the interests of the Afghans of the region, because the powerful tribe of the Koyoks had always acted as a psychological, if not physical, bulwark against the merry depredations in Sibi and Tedder Plains. Misri Khan, who tendered his services to Shah Durrani and was taken into British pay. In 1841, as already described in the section on history, the town of Koyoks was occupied by British troops and dismantled. British Koyok battle is reported on page 638 of Revati's notes in the following words. Early in March 1841, Mr. Ross Bell, then political agent in Upper Sindh, called upon the inhabitants of the Sai district, as well as others, and including the Koyoks, to pay up the arrears of revenue due by them to their sovereign's treasury Emirate of Afghanistan, and one of his assistants was dispatched for the purpose of collecting the money, accompanied by a small detachment of troops, and Misri Khan, the Barozi, accompanied them. Whether the hostility existing between the Barozes and the Koyoks and the base treatment of the former by the latter were known to the political is very doubtful, but, of course, the Barozi chief, as might have been expected, was only too glad to have a chance of settling old scores with the ingrate Koyoks. The upshot was, after the Koyoks, as it has been said, had been at first inclined to pay up, they now refused to do so, and being able to muster 700 fighting men, they defied the authorities. A force was asked for by the political agent to coerce them. At this time, there was a British force of some 6,000 men encamped at and around Bahadnari, but, despising the enemy as usual, a small force of about 1/10 of that number, about 600 men in all, including apparently a detachment of horse artillery, was dispatched against the Kojak town, under the command of Colonel Wilson of the Bombay Cavalry. The Koyoks, nothing daunted at the approach of the troops, refused the terms offered them, and an attack was determined upon. The Koljaks threw open the gate of their walled town, but which walls had fallen down in several places, and defended themselves bravely, cutting down all who attempted to enter. Twice our troops were driven back, and the result was a very serious repulse, and the loss of 53 men killed and wounded, and 4 officers, while the defendants lost 45 men killed, besides 3 of their headmen, and 93 men and 3 chiefs wounded. The small force thus beaten off had to content itself with closely investing the place, as they imagined, until reinforcements should arrive from Bhag. Now a European and a native regiment and a whole troop of horse artillery were dispatched in hot haste, but their elements prevented their speedy arrival, and by the time the troops reached the Koyok town they found that it had been evacuated by its brave defenders, and was then in the possession of the detachment which before had unsuccessfully assaulted it. The defences of the place we blown up and demolished, the place itself given up to plunder, and the cultivation around laid waste. Subsequent to this attack upon the Kolok town, and the strength of that branch of the Panis had been broken, the merry Baloches acquired a footing in the Sai district, dispossessed the Pani of Badarot, Quat, and Mandori. English writer Eastwick had quoted Koyoks as the bravest of the people inhabiting the plains, Sibi. In MacGregor's Gazette of the Northwest Frontier Province, Volume II 1887-1888, page 940, we have following account of the tribe. Koyok, a tribe of Pathans. They are a large and powerful clan under the leadership of Lashkar Khan and are usually at enmity with Boruzes. They are said to number from 800 to 900 fighting men and own one fort which contains 300 fighting men. Though agriculture is their chief employment and though they are peacefully inclined, they are said to have a high character for bravery. Their lands are watered by tributary streams of the Nori. The power of the Koyoks was thus weakened, and shortly afterwards the Meris acquired a footing in the Sibi district. They dispossessed the Panis of Badra and Quatmandi. There are several battles, such as that of Janyon near Nori Gorge, in which they attacked and brutally murdered other Panis who were unarmed and were busy in clearing the main irrigation canal. This was very unfortunate because it is stated to have happened in violation of a Quranic oath which the Koyoks had taken earlier at the Safis mosque situated near the shrine of Akhund Sahib north of Karak village. In this battle 21 Panis were killed and many more wounded. Tradition says that Misri Khan Barozayans led a defending force composed of the Pani tribesmen then living in Karak village, during an attack against that village by another force led by Fata Khan Baramzay Koyok. This battle is stated to have been fought about 3 miles to the west of the Karak village near a bridge on a canal commonly known as the Bridge of the Ekasses. In order to cut off the escape route and to take possession of the defenseless village at the time of victory, Fata Khan Baramzay had earlier divided his force into 2 parties. One of it was to lie in ambush at some distance, in a dry irrigation channel running east of Karak village. The other party, composed of horsemen, was to attack the opponents from the western side of the village. This battle was fiercely contested for quite some time, but in the end resulted in a defeat for Koyoks, whose commander Fata Khan was one of the many casualties. Misri Khan himself was fatally wounded in the battle, died 3 days later and was buried at the Karak village graveyard of the martyrs. He died between 1855 and 1860 and was succeeded by his brother Bakhtiyar Khan. In the brief biographical account of the leading Sardars on page 37 we have as follows. Bakhtiyar Khan Boruzi, Chief of Sibi. Major Harrison wrote in 1871, His Highness Khan Khalid said, he believed, if he was killed Bakhtiyar Khan Boruzi of Sibi would be put on the Khanate. Had nephews Akbar Khan, Serbaland Khan and Ismail Khan, sons of Misri Khan, Bakhtiyar Khan's elder brother with whom he was said to have quarrelled. Communicated information to the political authorities after withdrawal of political agent from Kalat in 1973. Had a son named Bakhtiyar Khan who was reported to have been killed early in 1874 in a dispute with the Koyoks. Bakhtiyar Khan too died in March 1874 and was succeeded by his nephew Mirshad Zaman Naub Sheikh Khan's son, his death attributed by some to grief on the death of his favourite son and by others to the effect to poison. Naub Bakhtiyar Khan was succeeded by his nephew Shah Zaman Khan who died in 1876. Naub Muhammad Khan Barozi was elected chief of Sibi in the summer of 1876 on the death of his brother Shah Zaman Khan, the only dissentient voice being that of his cousin Sardar Sarbuland Khan, who without any right to the chieftainship opposed his election in prosecution of a family dispute. In September 1876 the whole of the Barozi headmen of Sibi and the Sardar himself wrote to Major Sanderman, asking that the election might be recognized. The petition was referred, through the Kandahar authorities, to the Emir for the orders, Sibi being a dependency of Kabul. Thus 3 Kabul officials Pasto Khan, Mir Akbar, Sadigu and Muhyiddin with the consent of all the Panis presented Naub Muhammad Khan with a kilot and duster of chiefship sent to him by the Emir Sarbuland Khan. Between 1830 and 1878, for about half a century, Hanas of Sibi, while being at civil war with Koyoks, resisted successfully the repeated attacks of Meres for capturing the Sibi and Sangan without any help from the state of Afghanistan, of which they were an integral part. History of Sibi of this period is replete with references to the Meri or Koyok Kozum or Zori. Translated, it means high-handedness of the Meris and the Koyoks. Situation in Sai and Sangan further worsened for Afghans because of the misrule of the then rulers of Afghanistan, the Mohammadzi Sardars, who had ousted Sadozi from the dominant position but were themselves not prepared to do anything to maintain law and order in the Sai-Quetta region. In 1879, through Treaty of Gandamak, jurisdiction over the Kurum and Pishin valleys, the Sibi district, and the Khyber Pass were transferred to the British. In 1974, the district was subdivided to create Nasirabad and Kolwood districts, in 1983 Durbugti district, and in 1986 Ziyarat district. Until 2000 and after 2000, Tehsil Hane of Sibi district became a new district named Hane district. Sibi district currently comprises two tehsils, Sibi and Leri. Let's now zoom in on demography and uncover the hidden gems that lie within. According to 2023 census, Sibi had a population of 69,300. According to 2017 census, Sibi division had a population of 963,941, which includes 506,028 males and 457,852 females. Sibi division constitutes 5,953 Hindus, 956,124 Muslims, Christians, followed by 289 scheduled castes and 119 others. Let's zoom in on languages and understand its implications. At the time of the 2017 census, 38.18% of the population spoke Balochi, 25.33% Sindhi, 17.82% Saraiki, 11.02% Pasho, 3.39% Brahwi, 2.27% Punjabi and 1.73% Urdu as their first language. Brace yourself for an in-depth analysis as we navigate through religion and its far-reaching implications. Religious groups in Sibi City 1941 and 2017. Let's now zoom in on festivals and uncover the hidden gems that lie within. The Sibi Mela Festival, first held in January 1885, eventually developed into a significant cultural festival, with a market for livestock trade, tent pegging, departmental exhibitions, musical shows, and sports festivals. As we move forward, let's uncover the untold stories and fascinating intricacies of establish. The district of Sibi was established in 1903 during British rule. Its area was larger than the current district and lay between and lying south of Loralay district, north of the Upper Sindh Frontier district, west of Durgazi Khan district and east of Kaki, Bolan Pass and Quetta Pishin. The total area of the district was 11,281 square miles, 29,220, but this included Meri Bugti County 7,129 square miles, which not directly administered by the British, leaving 4,152 square miles, 10,750 that were directly administered by the British. The population, according to the 1901 census of India, was 74,555 or 18 persons per square mile. The district contained 4 tehsils. These were: Tehsil area Skmi population, Ko 362 1,743, Sibi 1,343 20,526, Sharig 1,595 16,573, Nasirabad 852 33,713, total 4,152 74,555. In 1974, the district was subdivided to create Naseerabad and Kolu districts. In 1983, Durbugti district, and in 1986, Ziyarat district. Until 2000, except for Naseerabad, these new districts were part of Sibi division of Pakistan. In 2000, the third-tier division's structure of government was dissolved. 2 further new districts were cleaved out of its territory, Hane in 2007 and Lehri in 2013. Lehri was reannexed into Sibi in 2018. Welcome to the next segment, where we explore climate and its significance in our journey. Sibi has globally recorded high temperatures, especially in the month of June, with an average of 45 C in the afternoon. Precipitation is light and mainly falls in 2 distinct periods, early spring in March and April, and during monsoon season in July-September. The climate is hot semi-arid Köppen. Remember to follow me on social media for behind-the-scenes content and updates.